right, this is Kinhank's 500 gigabyte gaming hard drive. And it's this little drive right here that's just plugged into my computer. It boots right up into your computer, and it turns your computer into a retro gaming machine with almost every single system I can possibly think of for 20 bucks. Yeah, 20 bucks. You cannot build this thing for what all it gives you. Dreamcast, Naomi, all the arcade games, Atomiswave, Nintendo, every Nintendo console, from Nintendo all the way up to Nintendo Switch, GameCube, Super Nintendo, you name it. PS1, PS2, the portables too, Nintendo 3DS. This thing is just packed with games. I just cannot believe what all this thing has. It's 114,000 games. Now, you might be saying that is ridiculous. It really is. There are a little bit of catches. But like I said, I like to do cheap stuff, and for $20, this is the best retro gaming deal out there. The best. Somebody tell me otherwise, please. Because what you're about to see is pretty crazy what they pack in for 20 bucks. There it is. 500 gigabytes. It's a Hitachi. You can see it's kind of refurbished. Has a little piece of foam to protect it. But yeah, it just kind of goes in. It's got a little side piece and clips back on. And then it comes with a USB cable there, and we got the controller. All right, there it is. It turns green. We're booting up the computer.
That's good.
I think it's good. So, wow, looks like you're having 30 systems or so here, and it's just launching all of these up.
I like museums.
You like museums?
Yeah.
I like the music. It was getting me pumped up, but we got to keep going, huh? So this little 500 gigabyte hard drive has 114,542 games. And let's just get into it here. Really kind of random that Sega 32X is the first system here. 60 games, that's a lot. That's going to be most of your games there. Even has double versions. A lot of people say like, oh, there's double versions here. There's two Mortal Kombat 2s. Well, one is the Europe ROM and one is the Japanese ROM. So I don't necessarily agree with everyone who's like, oh, these things are filled with just duplicates, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is pretty squared away so far. We're going to see as we go. I accidentally launched the game on accident, but there you go. I'm going to go ahead and get out really quick, though. I am going to change my controls really quick to see if I have my correct mapping. So Xbox 360, I'm going to 60 games on Sega 32X, 3DO, only 13 games. And there you go. There's 4 discs on Wing Commander, but so it's about 9 games. 3DS, okay. I'm just surprised to even have room for the 3DS at all. So I'm stoked for that. A 500 gigabyte usually doesn't have anything. Amiga, Amstrad, Apple II, these are all massive collections. Arcade, you have over 2,500 arcade games. You can hit the trigger button on your controller and it'll jump down per page like I'm doing now. And or if you can always hit select on your controller, if for example you want to get Mortal Kombat, you can either do select a random game, or you can go down to M over here. I can go ahead and type M, and it'll jump me down to M, and then I can just use the triggers from here. I just went past Metal Slug, and here you go, Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3. But if you want Ultimate Mortal Kombat, you're going to go down to U for Ultimate, and then ULT. There it is, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Going back here, so massive arcade set. Atari 2600, all of them, 5200, all of them, 7800, 64, Atari 800, almost 5500 there, Atari Lynx, all of them, ST, all of them. Now Atomiswave, cool little system here, Atomiswave, sorry I went back there. Atomiswave, Dolphin Blue, Guilty Gear, Rumblefish 1 and 2, really cool that they have that. CPS System 1, 2, and 2. These games you'll also find in the arcade set as well, but those are going to be like your 1944s. There's also a Marvel Superheroes for Street Fighter, really good game. There's going to be other Street Fighters as well, especially in Capcom 1.
Hey, look, Dad.
Oh, nice. That's a unicorn, huh? Commodore 64 is 7,000 games. And Dreamcast is going to be 50 games. We can go in there. D2 looks like there's a few discs there. But to be honest with everybody, like, I thought this thing was just going to be total junk. But Family Disk System, all of them. Final Burn Neo 6600. So this is just like every single arcade ever on the system. So this is going to be your arcade games. It's going to be your Final Burn games. There's going to be your CPS 1 and 2 games. Atomiswave's going to be here. I bet Neo Geo's in here. Now, again, people in the comment section are going to say, this is all junk. There's so many duplicates. Yes, there are some duplicates. But for example, you know, the Act Fancer here, those are 4 different ROMs. Reversion 1 for Japan, World Version 1, 2, and 3. I mean, yes, it's not ideal. It's not perfect. Yes, you're right. All right, you'll get your cookie, but I don't hate it. I don't hate this machine for what you're getting for the price. Nobody can name anything cheaper. Like, it's not even worth your time to build one of these at this rate. Game & Watch, you got 53. Game Boy, you got 1,600, massive collection there. You're gonna have Japanese games. Yeah, it's just gonna be a ton of games in there. So, and for those of the people that say, oh, you spend more time searching, well, just hit select on your controller. If you want to play Pokemon, go over to P and then go down to Pokemon. And it took me, there you go, Pocket Monsters are there, or Pokemons are here. It took me, how long did it take me? A couple seconds. So, just goes to show some people have trouble with getting out of bed every day. All right, Game Boy Advance, 2,900 games. That is a ton. Look at all the 3-in-1 games. I mean, it is if anything, it's funny, right? How many different versions of these games they have. Like, it's the ultimate ROM dump, if you will. And that's another reason why I think these are cool, is like literally they have every version of every ROM ever made. Game Boy Color, 1,500. Game Gear, 500. Nintendo Game, I can't believe they fit GameCube on a 500 gigabyte hard drive. You have the remakes on the Zeldas, even Twilight Princess, F-Zero, Mario Kart Double Dash. I'm just so impressed. I'm really impressed by how much they're squishing onto this little 500 gigabyte drive. Now, you know, some of the soundtracks aren't there. There's no video snaps. They're skimping on every little corner. But if you watch my videos, there are builds. Jaguar, nice little set. Lutro 9. There are builds that you can get, like a 3 terabyte build, or a 5 terabyte build, or even a 12 terabyte build. That's going to give you a lot more, and the soundtracks and everything. But you're going to pay a lot more for it. Sega Megadrive, all of them. It's going to be Japanese games and US games, a ton. You can also, by the way, for those of you that want to see the game list different way, oh, that's cool. You can even change the looks of it. We can go to boxes view. Look at that. And you can see the boxes of the games. Oops, accidentally went in. But Bugsy Inn, Claw's Encounter of the Furred Kind. So it looks like I did, by resetting my hotkey, I was able to now start and select as my default. See, I prefer detail just because, or automatic, just because it's easier to read everything. MSX, MSX2, another 1,000 games. Naomi, 77 games. So between this and Dreamcast, it looks like the Dreamcast games are in here as well. So about 100 total. Good games. Good games in here. A lot of fun there with Naomi. And so your Neo Geo is going to be in there too, it looks like. So Neo Geo, or your Dreamcast will be in there as well. Neo Geo, you got pretty much all of them. Neo Geo CD, all of them. Neo Geo Pocket and Pocket Color, all of them. Nintendo 64, 256. So not every single Nintendo 64 game, it looks like. Looks like, wow, they have Switch on here as well. Jesus. But back to Nintendo 64. I mean, it's going to have GoldenEye. It's going to have the Pokemon. It's going to have Zelda. It's going to have what you're looking for, Micro Machines, Mario Parties. That's pretty good. With Nintendo 64, emulation can be hit or miss. Remember, you can always hit select on your controller here. Go down to advanced system options, and you can change the emulator. Sometimes Parallels runs better than MuPen, and sometimes Rice or Glide even runs better. And on top of picking the emulator out, right now is default to MuPen But you can also change the aspect ratios, latency, the looks, all this stuff is just a little click away. And if you don't like what you did, you could just reset it really easily. So something to check out with Nintendo 64, a lot of settings there. 64DD, that was development, computer, 11 games. Nintendo DS, almost every single game here. It's ridiculous. So much. It's going to have your Mario Kart, your Super Mario's. Nintendo, so this is going to be your Japanese and your English, way too many games. Not too crazy though, if you're looking at the screen here, there's not too many duplicates. You got like a Portuguese, Brazil version, US version, and then Japanese games as well. You're gonna have a prototype here, Buzz and Wall Dog. So quite a few different things. Well, this, I didn't want to go in there, but now we know it works at least. Computer, Nintendo hacks, so 2,600 hack games. These are gonna be your prototypes. If you go down to Super Mario, there's like a ton of Super Mario games that people have made through the years, like remakes, reskinning it, things like that. And so if you go down to Super, you're going to see a lot. Look at that. Look how many Super Mario Brothers there are. Look at that. Oh, man. Mario Brothers 2, 3, and hacks. Oh, wowza. So this thing is going to, this for 20 bucks, the amount of entertainment alone that this thing is going to provide you is amazing. 2700 family computer system. This is also going to be the NES collection as well. Super Famicom is your NES. Wow, 1500. That's just ridiculous. So this is where I'll give everybody a little bit of like, yes, 1500 games is just inflated to beyond insanity. But personally, this is a system I don't play a lot. I would just go over to Super Nintendo. It should be in here somewhere. I would just go to Super Nintendo, and then I would find the games I want here, like Contra, for example. I just go down to C and then do Contra. All right, so I was all the way back here. We haven't even done PlayStation yet. We were just on Nintendo Switch. It does have one Nintendo Switch game. It has ARMS. But it's cool that they gave you the Switch game. You have the emulator on there, which is cool. Open Beats of Rage are really fun games. If you like Streets of Rage and Ninja Turtles, you're going to like those games. PC Engine 400, all of them. PC Engine CD 70, PCFX 6. So now we got PlayStation, 700 games. Now I can tell you for a fact, this is where they skimp out. These PlayStation games do not have the soundtracks on them, so that's how they save space. So cutscenes, as well as like when the music's supposed to kick on in a particular game, it might not kick on. So while it's an impressive amount of games, keep that in mind that, you know, any kind of music files, things like that, have been scraped to save space. PS2, 30. I can't believe this. I can't believe there's PS2 on here for 500 gigabytes. Like, what are they doing? How are they compressing this so small? PS2, there you go, 30 games. PS3, this is just wild. Castlevania. And depending on your system, it'll run. Looking at PSP, these are just PSP minis. So there you go. If you actually want some PSP games like God of War or Mortal Kombat or Need for Speed Underground, they're not going to be on there. Pokemon minis, little mini Pokemon games like the Tamagotchi pet. We got ports, Doom 1 through Doom TNT, Prince of Persia as well. Pi games are like Python games, Satellaview 39, Sega Saturn, 28 Sega Saturn games. On top of all this stuff that's already on here, well, there's some CD games in here, but over 20. Impressive, to say the least. Screenshots, this is if you take a screenshot. What have they been taking screenshots of? So one guy got a little crazy taking screenshots of, well, I forget the name of this game, the Great 1,000 Mile Rally game. Scum BM, 55 games. So this is pretty cool. You're going to have like Space Quest, Sam & Max Hit the Road, Indiana Jones, Full Throttle. Sega Mega Drive, or Sega CD, Sega Mega CD or Sega CD. 82 games. So it does have Terminator. Yeah, great game there. So huge, amazing. Sega Genesis, all the games. Hacks, even more hacks. Sega Mega Drive, Japanese, almost all of them. Super Game Boy, over 200. We already saw all the Super Nintendo games, plus some hacks. Super Graphics, 319. That ain't bad. That's a pretty good Super Graphics set there as well. Supervision 47, Oozebox 89, Vectrex 71, Virtual Boy, all of them. Wow, Wii U win. My God. So Super Mario Galaxy 2, pretty random. Super Smash Bros. A lot of people are going to like that. And Legend of Zelda as well. That's pretty cool. And then Wii U, it just jumped around there. Mario Kart 8. Wow. And then Windows-based games, Plant vs. Zombies, and then Xbox Jet Set Radio. They usually have that game. And then ZX Sinclair, bumping up that game count at over 20,000 games. So, yeah. Ridiculous. All right, so first place, here we go. A little bit of lag there. A lot of this lag is going to depend on your computer. This is on a pretty powerful computer. Whoa, did not turn enough there. Get out of my game, kid. Yeah. So, another Kinhank drive. By far the cheapest. I wanted to do this video because with Black Friday, this hard drive is going to be under 20 bucks. You can run this thing through a antivirus and delete some files. I would be careful. You might be deleting some like BIOS files or files you need for certain systems to run. But, you know, that is possible as well. Let's do a PlayStation game here. Gunbird, I like that game. So you notice in this PlayStation game, there's no music. So that is one of the downsides here.
All right, so let's start with the cons. No soundtracks on some of the CD-based games to save space. Duplicate games as well as regions all over the place that you may or may not care about. Lots of games, so you might spend a lot of time searching for things. You can delete games, though, or you can hide games. You can even hide certain systems in the menu system with the click of a button. The virus concern, I think you can overcome that, whether it's with an antivirus or just putting it on a computer that's not connected to the internet or doesn't have a Wi-Fi card. But pros, on the other hand, are for 20 bucks, you can't even, like, your time is so much well, so you don't have to find anything, you don't have to set anything up, it's just plug and play. That's actually one more con, is you do have to set this as your default boot. It's really not that big of a deal, but I think if this was a plug-in hard drive where you just double-click something on your desktop, it would be a little easier. So that one more con back there. Back to the pros, you can't beat it for the price, you can't beat it for time invested, things just work. It's one of my favorite front ends, Battlesera Linux. It just works. It's clean. It's fast. Another pro is just the variation of games and titles. It just goes all over the place from Nintendo, Sony, Sega. So it's a good budget option. And I actually am a fan of the little external hard drive as well. So that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.